Hope that you are well and also hope that you are having a good day so far. Today we'll be doing our grade 5 English lesson on plural nouns. And before we start, we're going to log on to a+students.com. Once you've logged on to a+students.ca with our username as well as our password, once we've logged on to our username as well as our password, and then we're going to select the subject of English language arts, grade 5. And then we're going to scroll down up until we get to the chapter of regular plural nouns. All right. So this is a continuation of our previous lesson on regular plural nouns, where we started last week on regular plural nouns. So like I said, this is now a continuation, right? All right. We said our chapter is regular plural nouns. Our subject is English language arts, grade 5. And the lessons that we are going to be focusing on is to form and use plurals and to form plurals. And that is basically like a continuation, but also a review on what we did in our previous lesson. All right. So when it comes to regular plural nouns, right? So regular plural nouns is basically where it's like we are saying it is more than, right? So it's either if we think of nouns, then nouns it names a person, animal, place, or thing. So when it comes to regular plural nouns, and then it means that we are not saying that there are two or more people, two or more places, two or more things, or two or more animals, right? That we are identifying. So, in order for us to form the plural, right, of most of the nouns, and remember we said nouns, it names a person, an animal, a place, or a thing. And in order for us to sorry, in order for us to form the plural nouns, and then it means that we need to add an is. So we need to add an is basically to our noun in order to form our regular plural noun. So if we look at an example, right, where we, for example, say, if we look at an example of, let's say, think of girl, right? Girl is a noun, right? It's a girl. It's a because it's a person. So if girl is a noun, and then it means that our plural then becomes girls, because girl refers to one girl, but if there's more than one girl, then we say girls. So all we did was we add an s. If we, for example, want to make mention of an animal, right? Because remember we said nouns, it names a person, names an animal, it names a place, or it names a thing, right? So those are nouns, right? And we said that plural nouns, right? It refers to anything that is two or more. So two or more people, two or more animals, two or more places, two or more things, right? So if we refer to one girl, then we just say girl. But as soon as we refer to more than one girl, then we say girls and we add an s. The same with if we think of an animal, right? We have one dog, and we say we have two or more dogs. So all we did was we added an is to show the plural form of the animal. All right. If we look at, let's say, a place, right? If we look at a place, then we can maybe say we're going to the park, right? But now, if you are saying we want to explore more than one park, we want to maybe explore two or more park, and then we say we're going to explore two or more parks, and we just add an s to show our plural, right? And things, let's think of a pencil. This is one pencil, but if I get another pencil from my friend, now I have two pencils. And we added an S. So which means that in order for us to form the plural of most of the nouns, right, then we just add an S. That is for most of the nouns. Not for all, but for most of the nouns. Like we have one girl, more than one girls. One dog, two or more dogs. One pork, two or more porks. One pencil, 10 pencils. All right. So that is basically only one of the ways in which we can, for example, form the plural of one nouns, right? And here we even make another example where we said one tree, two or more trees, and we added an S to our tree. And that is basically a thing that we mentioned. Okay, so if we again, right, so that is basically plurals, general, anything. But now, if a noun ends in an s, so if the noun ends with an s, so if you have a noun, right, and a noun ends with an s, or a ch, or sh, or x, or z, or z, then we need to add an es to make it plural. So not just s, we need to add es to make it plural. For example, we have one bush. It ends with a sh. We have one bush, two or more bushes, and we added an es to show that there are two or more of that, like two or more bushes. One bush, two bushes. For example, one bus, right? Two or more buses, and we added an es. Let's say with the ch, let's say one church, because it ends with the ch. Two or more churches. All we did was we added an es. One box, because here they say with an x, one box, two or more boxes, right? So that is but a few examples of nouns that either end in s, like bus, buses, h, which is church, churches, which is bush or bushes, box, which is boxes, right? So that is but an example or few examples of nouns that ends with that. And when our nouns either end with an s, x, or z, then we add the es to make it plural. And if our noun ends with the consonant y, right, then we need to drop the y, add the I, E, S, and that is to make it plural, right? And here we have an example. We have one baby. Baby ends with a Y. But now if we want to refer to more than one baby, and then we're going to drop the Y like we said over there, and we are going to replace the Y with the IES to show that there are two babies. So we drop the Y and we just add the IES in its place. For example, family, right? Family. So if we want to show that there's more than one family, and then we can drop the Y, add the, so we're going to drop the Y, oopsie, and then we're going to add the IES for families, right? If we think of another word that ends with a Y, let's say, I don't think there is a noun because I wanted to use a word, but that is not a noun. All right, if we think of another word, right, that ends with, let's say, with a Y, but it changes, right, to like where we add our IES, then think of fly, a fly, right? Those irritating, buzzing insects that would, come around when there's food out or something. So fly, we are going to drop the Y, we're going to add IES to show that there's more than one fly. City. Yeah, we have city. If we want to refer to more than one city, then we say cities. We added the IES. Cities. Right? And then bully. Right? If we have bully, here's a bully. And if there's more than one bully, if there's more than one bully, then we're going to say bullies. And they add the IES to show that there's more than one bully. Right? So far, before we continue, right, we see that in order for us to form most of the plurals, we add an S, right? That is very simple. So we just add an S to that specific word, right? And remember, a noun, it names a person, it names an animal, it names a place, or it names a thing, right? And in order for us to form most of our nouns or our plural nouns, to show the plurals of most nouns, then we add an S. We add an S to our noun to show that there's more than one. Yes, flies or cities is correct. Well done. Are there exceptions to these rules? Um, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it basically just depends on how you use certain words. But so far, these are like straightforward, you know, how to use a word if it's in the plural form. So, yeah, so this is basically the easiest example that I can give to you when it comes to plural nouns. All right, so if a noun, right, ends, so if a noun ends in the word if or fe, right, and the if sounds like a V, then it means that like a V needs if it's plural, then it means that we need to drop the F or the FE and we add VES to make our noun plural. No, that is irregular. That is irregular nouns. Like, for example, if it changes from a child to children, goose, geese, women, mouse, mice, then that is irregular plurals. When it comes to regular plural nouns, right, and then we basically just follow the rules, right? Because once we go to irregular plurals, then we don't follow the rules. You are just going to have to go with what or you're just going to have to maybe, study whatever in order to basically follow whatever you've been doing or what they say the irregular plural form of that word would be. But when it comes to the ones that you just mentioned, like child, children, goose, geese, mouse, mice, women, those are irregular plural nouns. It changes its form, it changes its meaning to it. Not even meaning, but it changes the form of that word. You're welcome. But when it comes to regular plural nouns, right, or regular nouns, and then it means that you need to basically just follow the rules as to what it says, right? So if they say that we just add an S, then you add an S. If they say for certain words like S, C, H, S, E, S, H, sorry, X, Z, right? And then it means that we add that word or that letters or something to the word. With irregular plural nouns, you're just going to have to remember, you're going to have to know the irregular plural nouns from the top of your head. Yes. And you'll only know that through if you're really studying it or through conversation. All right. So now we see that if a noun ends with an if and the if sounds or changes the changes to a V when it is plural, then it means that we need to drop the F or the FE, add a V is to make it plural. And here we have an example like wolf, right? Wolf ends with an if. But as soon as we make mention of more than one wolf, then we say it is wolves, and then it ends with a VES. If we look at another example, right, that ends, if the plural is, for example, VES, then we can say one half, two or more halves, and we added the VES, halves. All right. So that is half, halves. And then we have wolf, wolves, right? So now, if the noun ends with an F or FE, and in the plural form keeps the F sound, then it means that we just need to add an S to make it plural. Only add the S to make it plural. And we have an example if it's like, ending with an F. So we can then say one chef, two or more chefs. So we don't say chefs with a V, is chefs. If we look at another word, think of knife, because knife is FE, right? So knife, and if um we were to change it, right, by it sounding like a VS, and then we can say these knives. All right. So we have knife, we have knives. Think of even leaf. We have one leaf on the tree, one leaf left, because the other leaves were, or like let's say, fell to the ground, or they are old, right? So leaf, leaves. All right, and then lastly, if a noun ends with an O, usually add an S to make it plural. So if a noun ends in O, then you just add an S to make it a plural. So it says that it in the noun, if the noun ends with zero or O, let's say O, not zero, O, and then we usually need to add an S to make it plural. However, we can add ES with the following exceptions: tomato, potato, hero, echo, tornado, volcano, and mango. All right, and if we look at the exceptions, right, they say that we're going to add S or ES to basically the nouns that ends with an O, right? But now our following exceptions are, so our following exceptions are tomato, potato, hero, echo, tornado, volcano, right? And if we were to look at the All right. If we look at the words tomato, potato, hero, eco, tornado, volcano, and mango. So, which means that if we were to add, right, something to make it more, let's say to make it plural, and then we're going to say it is tomatoes. And we put es. The same with potatoes. And we added an es. Ecos, right? Tornadoes. So which means that the exception is that let's say tomato, potato, hero, eco, tornado, volcano, and mango. Those are the exceptions, right? All right. So now we're going to a+students.ca where we are going to go over regular plurals to form and use plurals and just to form plurals. All right. Sorry. So now we're going to form and use plurals, right? And go over the review. And we specifically made mention of to form our plurals, most of our nouns in either with an S, right? Or we add an ES to make it plural. Oopsie. Or we drop our Y and we add the IES, right? To our specific let's say words in order to change it from a regular singular word to a plural noun or plural form, right? All right, so now let's go to our test where we are going to form and use plurals. It says American playwright Arthur Miller wrote a number of plays before achieving success with the death of a salesman in 1949. So the word play, we need to write the plural form of play. Is it option one, plays? Option two, plays the double S? Or option three, which is places? We need to choose the correct word that basically describes two or more play. So is it option one, option two, option three, play? All right, and if we were to choose the correct one, we will choose option one, right? Because it says American playwright Arthur Miller wrote a number of plays before achieving success with Death of a Salesman in 1949. And option one, plays, is correct. All right, the next one says the taco truck on Mermaid Avenue serves the most delicious fish taco in town. We need to write the plural of the word taco? Is it option one, tacos, option two, tacos, or option three, tacosis? We need to choose the correct one. All right. And if we were to choose the correct one, then yes, we will say the taco truck on Mermaid Avenue serves the most delicious fish tacos in town. So it's option one. Yes, well done. All right, the next one says on September 21, 1959, the cover of Life magazine featured a photograph of the wife or the Project Mercury astronauts. So on September 21, 1959, the cover of Life magazine featured a photograph of the wife of the Project Mercury astronauts. We need to choose the plural of the word wife. Option one, wives with an S and an F in the middle. Or option two, wifesses. Or option three, wives with a V. All right, then if we were to choose the correct one, we will say on September 21, 1959, the cover of Life magazine featured a photograph of the wife on the Project Mercury astronauts. All right, so of the, let's say wives. And wives is correct. So it's VES. And option three, yes, is correct. Yes, because we turn out F. So well done. Baby giraffe can stand just 30 minutes after birth and they can run after only 10 hours. So can you stand its baby giraffe can stand can stand just 30 minutes after birth and they can run after only 10 hours. Is it option one, giraffes, option two, giraffes, or option three, giraffes? All right, then if we choose the correct one, then yes, we're going to say it's option one, which is giraffes with an E and an S. How is giraffe like a lioness? How is giraffe like a lioness? All right. And if we were to choose the correct one, we will say reefs. We were even by the next one. It says 2012 ecologist Roger Bradbury wrote that overfishing and population are destroying the world's coral reef. And yes, reefs are correct. All right, reefs is correct. And then the last one will say, it's hard to imagine that these plump caterpillar will eventually transform into delicate butterflies. Here's it. So it's hard to imagine that these plump, what is the plural of caterpillar? We have one caterpillar, more than one, will eventually transform into delicate butterflies. All right, so we can say caterpillars, which is option one. All right, now we're going on to the next lesson, right, which is to form plurals. We need to form plurals. It says, in order for us to form plurals of most nouns, we need to add an S, right? And if a noun ends in sh, X, or Z, then we add an ES. And if a noun ends with a consonant, then we drop the Y and add IES to make the plural one, two walls. And we went over these ones if the noun ends with an F, but the plural of that noun sounds more like it's a V, then it means that it changes now from an F to a V is, right? All right, so now we're going back to our test by forming plurals. Look at the word that is broken down for us. The word that has been broken down for us. It says remedy. All right, so remedy, one remedy, more than one what? Is it more than one remedies? IS remedy or remediasis? So if we were to choose the correct one, then we'll say one remedy, more than one remedies. IES. All right, the next one says we need to fill in the missing word. Fair plus S. Is it fairs or fair or fairies? And if we were to type them as in word, then we would say it is fierce. So Moses. Is it option one, Moses? Option two, Moss, or number three, Mossis? One Moss. More than one. Do we say Mosses, Moss, or Mossis? All right, and if we were to choose the correct one, we will say these Mosses. A E is at the end. So well done. All right, let's look at the last one. We have a cello, right? The musical instrument, and cello. But if we have more than one musical instrument, is it cello, or cellois? So cello plus is it option one, cellos, option two, cello, or option three, cellois? Celloish. All right, and if we were to choose the correct one, then we would say one cello, more than one cellos. So well done to our option one, right? Which is the ones that gave the answers of Bokru and Oluwasen. All right, so that is now the end of our lesson on regular plural nouns. And we see regular plural nouns, it's like we basically just add an S to the word in order to change it from a singular word to a plural noun. All right, so that is the end of our lesson. Thank you very much, grade 5, for joining the class. And I really hope you're going to have a good day further. Goodbye.